All right, hey everybody. We're back with another episode. This is episode 27.
What's
He's
your
got
why?
his T-shirt.
I'm official.
Mine just says "You are enough" because you are. But Josh and I are going to be doing a little bit of a Memorial Day type of a podcast.
Yeah.
Talk about some of our experiences and everything that we kind of went through.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on in 2 months, so he probably
been a
doesn't even
while.
know what the fuck to say.
I don't even know how this works.
But we're gonna start off. Cheers. He's got a Canadian beer. Whenever I went to Canada, and then I got heavy black metal. This is a really good fucking black IPA. So cheers.
Cheers.
And before we get started, we're gonna do a little 15-second moment of silence. So if you don't mind, this is for all those that didn't come back from any conflicts, any wars, or anything that was going on overseas. So, all right, ready? All right. So,
All right.
I appreciate that. This day is pretty heavy for a lot of people. A lot of people think that it's just hot dogs and hamburgers and a good old barbecue time.
beers, Yeah.
But for us that know firsthand what it's like to be overseas and see some of the things that we've seen, it's not that. And this is kind of why we wanted to come together today to kind of talk about it. But it's also beyond that, because people don't realize that those that didn't come back, we have that this whole day for them. But those that did come back and suffer and end up taking their lives or doing something else, to themselves, this should be for them as well, because
exactly.
they're carrying a lot of heavy shit that they saw, went through while they were there. Then they come back here and they fight that battle that they couldn't get over with.
I think of it this way. I think of those guys that just never made it out of that uniform. Their boots are still laced, as far as I'm concerned. Whether it was in conflict or home station, whether the mental got the best of them or whatever it may be. And that's why we sort of talk and discuss those facts a lot, because it's a heavy thing to deal with. You don't always have to see battle and conflict to have a heavy mental. There's all kinds of things that relate to that when it comes to being in the military. You got to think about family stuff that's going on in the background, work stuff that's going on in the background. I know even for myself, that's been, part of it. So I just think of these guys as the guys that just never made it out of that uniform. They didn't get to hang up that uniform. So we want to memorialize them, and we want to make sure that you guys understand that this is 100% about them. There's got nothing to do with us. We're still here, we got to make it back, and we get to fight another day, but some of these guys don't. So with that, we just sort of want to discuss about it.
Today is also, like, he was saying, we want to memorialize them, but at the same time, those of us that have suffered that PTSD or that depression, anxiety, make sure that if you have somebody that's been in conflict and combat, out deployed, that you check on them. Make sure that they're okay, because sometimes all it takes is for somebody to say, "Hey, are you all right, bud?"
Yep.
I do that quite often to some of my friends. They do that to me sometimes. Sometimes I send encrypted shit over fucking Facebook, and people are like, "Bro, are you
Freaking
okay?
out.
Yeah, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Fuck, dude! Like, I didn't mean it that way, but
Right.
it comes off that way,
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things." And
Yep.
just always watch out, because I've had plenty of friends that kind of took their own lives because of what they did or whatnot. I've known people, and I'm not going to mention any names whatsoever, but I've known people that have passed in battle or in combat or overseas. And then I've known plenty of people who committed suicide. And that's not, man, you are enough, dude. You are enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Ladies, gentlemen, you are enough. Like that, we talked in the past, I've brought it up about my mental health state, and it took a dive. And I came back from it, and this is why I'm doing this. This is why we come and have these conversations, because it is important to both of us. It's important to Tim. It's important to anybody else that's come onto this podcast, because
most definitely.
we have those friends. We have seen it. We've been a part of having to respond to something that is iffy. And what if we see that somebody that did that to themselves.
It's like like they say, if you see something or hear something, say something, or reach out or whatever it may be. And even if that person you can't get a hold of them, reach out to maybe a family member or someone that may be able to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Because the last thing, or if you need to do a welfare check, by all means, you can do that. That's something that's available. So, by all means, we want to make sure we're looking out for each other. So, we all want to be here for the next day and the day after.
A next thought to that is this morning, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and I think I posted it on the Veterans and Beer Facebook page, which, by the way, I just started, and there's going to be more stuff coming along with it.
So be on the lookout, guys. We're going to start updating on that page.
But there was a video of an Air Force Tech Sergeant playing taps at the National Cemetery, and there's a drone that comes out and pans out, and you see the amount of headstones that are there, and that's just a small portion.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm getting the chills because it's very impactful to us. It's meaningful. This is why we did it.
It's crazy you said that. A friend of mine, her husband, I used to be stationed with him. He used to be engine trooper. Now he's TAC P, yeah, one of those. I don't know. But she had posted something where in Kentucky, at the cemetery, the memorial there, they put boots down on the field, and they have pictures of everyone that's passed with flags. And it gave me chills. And I told her that I was like, I've never physically been there to see something like that, but just seeing it in that video that she posted and that she was there to see, it was just amazing to see that. And just like it just really brought a tear to my eye, because that's crazy to see something like that and to know that there's that many guys that have not come back and not come home.
The amount of boots.
The amount of boots. For sure. They didn't make it out, those boots.
Before we started this whole conversation, we were kind of discussing a few things, and one of those things was whenever I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, we had fallen comrade ceremonies. You would always see, and I say this kind of loosely, but you would see quite a bit of it where, you would have to come out, salute, stand at the street and salute as a flag draped coffin rolled by. And it gave you a sense that shit was real. The shit.
It really hits home.
And sometimes you're standing there and you don't know how many, fallen comrades are coming through, and sometimes you see two, sometimes you see one, a single one, sometimes you see 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And I was there during one of the heights of, the fighting in Afghanistan and even in Iraq, and it's really, really somber. I mean, there was one time where me and my buddies went back to go to work because we did this fallen comrade ceremony, and I don't think the rest of the night we said a word to each other.
Yeah.
Because you see these flag draped coffins, and they're going home, but they're not going home standing. Yep. They're going home to be buried, and somebody's taking them back to their home to get that proper burial that they need, taking them to their families. Yep. And that is heart-wrenching. That is painful, especially when you're in that combat zone and you hear stuff outside the wire, and then all of a sudden you see this happening, and they come from all over the place, and that sucks.
And it's crazy. I mean, most people, even if you're not in the military, you understand this fact. Like, you might not know that person, you might not have had anything to do with that person, but it doesn't matter. It's still the fact that someone's no longer here. A mother's never going to see your son again. A child's never going to see their father or mother again. It's just a steamroll effect. It's just really hard to see. But on top of that, talking about it, I remember as a young airman, I did honor guard, base honor guard in Charleston. And initially I thought it was sort of hoaxy, I was like, oh, this is dumb. Why do I got to do this? I don't want to do this. And then as I got into it, I really learned what it was about and what was the purpose. Not only were you just honoring those that came before us, our vets, our guys that retired, guys that got out, you're giving them, their family, their final honors. But you're also honoring, during my time, I did 3 years of it. I did 2 active duty funerals, yeah. And those are hard because one of them was a really young guy. And, you're paying respect to these guys, and it's just, I remember when I became fully enthralled in what it was and what I was doing, I wanted to be 100% all the time for this guys, and I always wanted to be the one that presented the flag. And it was just, to me, it was just a sense of respect and a sense that I did my part, and I didn't know them from anyone else. You know, never personally served with them, but I felt like I knew them. You know, they were a brother in arms to me.
Yeah.
And so to me, to be able to give them that last respect and that family, that flag, and present to them that flag, it just meant a lot. It took a toll on me. It really did. As a young airman, I didn't realize what I was doing. And I hadn't even gone and been deployed at this point yet. You know, I was probably a year and a half into my, military career.
Oh, damn. Young
I
buck,
was
huh?
young buck, young airman, A1C. And it really gave me, I took every option to go ahead and be able to present. So I was doing a lot of funerals. I wish I sort of tallied it up just to like have a number, but if it was something that I could do, I was doing it. And it just took a lot mentally.
The worst, you did a couple of active duty funerals, but the worst thing is hearing that 21 gun salute and that taps play
taps.
when you know the
Yep.
person,
Yeah.
when you know who it is. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up because this is deep.
Hey,
This
it's
is deep.
expected. It's a deep process.
So help your fellow people out. Yeah, I get it. We go down range, we do the things that we do, we come back, but mentally, some of these guys need it. Some of these guys need to hear like, hey, bud, like it's all right, I talked about mine and seeing that overseas, but he also saw that overseas too. Not only did he do honor guard, but he also, in Germany
in
and
Germany.
Ramstein on the way back.
And Ramstein's the hub, so everyone that's downrange, that's been deployed, that's coming back for a movement, whether it's the actual movement home or it's unfortunate to where we're paying our homage and our tribute to them, our fallen, they all come through Ramstein. So I was on the en route side, so being that they all come through on a C-17, and I will say the first time I saw it was actually when I was in IUD. I was deployed, and I was just a young airman again. I've been in maybe 2.5 years, and we had one come through, and I was in awe. I didn't really know what it was, at that point. Like I had done the honor guard thing, but I hadn't done a live. Like this is real life. This is facts. And I remember they do the ramp freeze, and they pay homage by making sure no one's at movement. And I got on that aircraft, and I saw that casket and that flag, and I was in awe. I didn't know what to do. They set you up and you present arms, and they do that. But it was just that I think that was pivotal for me. That's when my whole mindset mentally transitioned to understand what I was doing as an airman in the military, as a military member, and as a deployed airman. I realized that everything I do needs to be 100%, because there's guys that's lives depend on it, and there's guys that's lives that we lost and they still depend on it because their jet has to get home, because their family needs to see and put them to their final resting place, and they deserve that. So it was astronomical for me. And then when in Ramstein, like I said, we did it quite a bit because I was there for 4 years, and you can only imagine. I was there during the conflict, OEF, what is it, IEF, IOF?
OEF and
It's been a minute.
OIF, Iraqi Freedom.
Yep. So,
Yep.
And we were in the pinnacle at that point. So there's a lot of movement, and it was just it was really gut wrenching, to say the least.
My last episode with Jason, he was a Green Beret, but he knows plenty of people that passed while he was out in battle. And so, Jason, hey, I thank you.
Yes,
And
sir. Thank you.
those individuals that passed, because he knows I've seen his page many times. We've had this discussion before over a few beers, and man, we all do a job. His a lot more intense than mine ever was.
Yeah,
But
sure.
It was funny that you were talking about that, because you were talking about being out there, and we all need to do a job, and we all need to do it right and on time to get there.
Yeah.
When I was in Afghanistan, I was just having this conversation with a couple of individuals that I work with over dinner the other day, and we were talking about how I modeled myself whenever I was active duty and what I did. We launched out some A-10s out of Afghanistan, and they went out there, and they came back empty. You know, this is a regular occurrence. You know, they fired off those rounds right there. They fired off those rounds. You know, 2, 3, 4,000 rounds, empty drum, and when they came back, you know, we're like, oh shit, they're empty. Hey, let's get them ready for the next mission. You know, not thinking. You know, it's just going through. But the chow halls were full of, you know, Army guys that were out there. They would come in, they would have their hot meals and do everything, and then they would go back out. And many a times while in Afghanistan, a lot of us maintainers who worked on A-10s and, you know, F-15s, you're dirty. You're fucking dirty because you're trying to crank out these aircraft, and these aircraft, people may see them in the sky and they look gorgeous, but on the ground they're fucking dirty as fuck.
They're greasy pigs.
They're nasty. And I mean, you can imagine the soot, the grease, the oil, the dirt, the dust, grime, I mean, you name it. We're dirty from head to toe because we're working on these things constantly. We were on 12 to 14-hour shifts trying to get all this shit done. And the Army guys would always come up and say, hey, you guys look like warthog fucking, like warthog maintainers. And we're like, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, tell your pilots and you yourselves, thank you. We really appreciate it. And the way I modeled my leadership style after that was, you know, because one of them was like, they got there on time and they did what they needed to do, and he thanked us. And from that point on, it was, if an individual came in late, why'd you come in late? And I always had one of those shells on my desk. Why'd you come in late? Well, you know, I had too much to drink last night. That's an excuse. You know, you see that round, you know, and a couple of those rounds that I have there are from combat that I brought back. You know, I mean, you bring back the shells and whatnot. And I said, do you see that? And I would explain the story. Like, lives matter in terms of timing. You're late, then that plane doesn't get off on time, then somebody's calling in for support, and this plane is, you know, hundreds of miles away trying to get there. They're not able to get there. And I had to tell these guys a story. And some of these individuals that I worked with or that I was in charge of, you know, it finally resonated with them, and they changed themselves because this all matters. That right there matters. And what that translates into is you won't see those fallen comrade ceremonies if you're sitting there on time, or maybe not as much, or maybe it saves one person's life. That's what matters, you know.
Exactly. And it's funny you said that. Like, I remember anytime, like I said, once I saw that, I knew that what I was doing was bigger than myself. That's what it really resonated for, was that something was greater than me that I was doing. And if I did my part, that means that at least I could say I 100% did the best of my effort to make sure that that pilot was safe, and that pilot was going to get to where he needed to be,
and home safely,
and then home safely, or back to home station deployed location safely, and that B, whoever he's protecting on the ground, especially as an A-10 guy, because we all know Army, Marines, Navy, it don't matter, they've all called in close air support, and it's always an A-10, no matter what, no ands, ifs, or buts, that there was lead delivered where it needed to be delivered, and those guys were out of harm's way, at least for a minimal amount of time, because we made sure that, like we always say, fucking break the bad guy shit, you know, and that's the objective. And so I knew that it was bigger than myself, and that's really the point, was like, and even when I was on C-17s, and en route's a continual, everything's coming in and out in Ramstein, so everything's live. And I always knew that if I'm bringing a jet back in and that needs to get fixed when in Ramstein so it can get home, I knew that there's going to be, I was either walking on to an aircraft that had a ton of deployed guys, Army, Marines, Navy, SEALs, whoever it was, that wanted to get home, that had been in the shits for, who knows, 12 months, 18 months. And it was my objective to make sure that they got home as quick as possible, because they've already done their time. And now they want to get home. You know, so I knew it was critical for me to do my part, so that way the rest can be continual. The pilot's going to do his part, and everyone else is going to play their part. But if I didn't do my part, then there's a break. There's a break in that line, and then I'm the problem, you know. And I didn't want to be the problem. I wanted to be the part. I wanted to play that. I wanted to be part of the success. So it was very, it was just mind shattering for me to be able to know that I played such a big part, and we think, oh, you're just a maintainer, you know, you're just an engine mechanic or whatever. You know, you had a red ball and you fix the jet. No biggie, you know, we go back, we're done, continue going to work, you know, do the next task. But when you look at big scheme things, you got that jet back to operational and not grounded, and now it can do what it needs to do. Whether it's going home to relieve those guys and let those guys be back at home, or if it's going back into the shit to
going
deliver.
Into the fight.
Going into the fight to deliver goods, deliver ammo, deliver whatever may be on the aircraft, or deliver warfighters. So very pertinent part of the task. So that's, for me, it was just astronomical when I got to see the big picture item, and it dawned on me. I became a whole different person, you know.
And this holiday is also, and I'm going to take it back even a little step further than just us, because we're talking about our civil rights, our freedoms, us not speaking, and I'm going to be frank, us not speaking German and Japanese. Like, I'm just saying that because I went to visit the beaches of Normandy, and I don't know if you got to see that whenever you were.
No.
I went almost 6 years ago on, almost 8 years ago on Veterans Day in November, and I saw Normandy, and I can post pictures. I'll post pictures on my Facebook page, but it's a whole different place.
Yeah.
I've also been to Gettysburg, two of the biggest battles in all the world's history, and seeing those headstones, seeing the lines knowing that men and women died in those locations for us to be able to sit here and do this, to continually fight. And I hope that at some point, if you're watching this, that you actually understand that this is big. This is not just about a barbecue. I won't barbecue. I won't. I have in the past, but I won't. I'll have some beers and I'll relax, because I know that, to me, this is something bigger. This is something that I've seen firsthand, and seeing those caskets come through.
For sure.
But if you know a World War II guy, they don't talk very much. Vietnam guys don't talk very much. But if you can get just the smallest little story out of them, ask them some stuff, because maybe they don't want to talk, but at this day and age where their time is
running low.
It's running very low. See what it was about. I mean, what is it? God, there's only a few thousand World War II veterans left.
Yeah. And they paved the way.
Oh yeah, and again, in Normandy, lines upon lines of crosses, and Star of Davids, and I mean, it was.
It's crazy to think about, because we're not just memorializing today's fighters, and we are, but this is history. Like, this goes back and back and back, and this is what made America, was these guys that gave their all and gave their lives. Some gave their lives and sacrificed everything and didn't make it back. So that, I mean, for me to think about that, it's like it's just so big,
What is that quote? All gave some, and
some gave all.
Some gave all.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes from way back when. Like we're saying, this isn't just
Revolutionary War.
This war. This is from the get-go. This has been over time. So it's I mean, I was adopted, so my father is a little older, but he was in the Korean War, and I know he saw some things. And I mean, he doesn't talk about it very much.
Have you ever asked him?
I try to bring it out of him a couple times, but he's not a big talker, and our relationship's not like that, so we don't discuss it. He wants to hear about my stuff, and all my things. He loves airplanes, though. He used to be a pilot, so. But I can only imagine some of the stuff that he's seen, and like some of the shows and movies, like Band of Brothers and stuff. The stuff that is in those movies, it's hard to understand, but a lot of it is. This is real. Like, they really dug and they made sure that they're depicting it correctly. So, and if you can imagine that kind of stuff, and it really, that this is what was happening, that's the kind of stuff they're dealing with. I mean, that's crazy to think about.
What part of that Korean War was the where they were in that ice storm or that heavy blizzard that happened? Man, I can't think of. But it was pretty brutal where they were, in conditions that were
Oh,
damn near unethical. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, God.
yeah,
So-
there hasn't been any war that's happened that was on a nice beach in an tropical island. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, there were, but
I mean,
it still was
For
not.
the most part, there
it
was
wasn't-
like Pearl Harbor might have been pretty nice, but I mean the stuff that was going on, the aftermath of it, and the results weren't what they anyone would want to go through, of course. So, but they did it, and they did it for family. I'm sure they did it for love of country.
Yeah,
They did it for
for their beliefs.
their beliefs.
For their beliefs.
I believe it takes someone that's just a bigger than themselves kind of person to really be able to like let down their guard and be like, you know what, I'm going to defend this country because we know what it's 1%. I don't know if it's raised a little bit or even less than that,
I
but
think it's less than that.
it's not a big percentage of those that are willing to lay down their life for their country. And when I think country, I think my family. I think my friends. I think my everything, my security of life. That's why I did it. As I've stated, for love of country and family.
I don't even think it's 1%, because what is the country?
I don't know.
330, 360?
Yeah, who knows what it is.
1% would be 3.6 million.
But to those that did it before us, God bless them and thank you, because there would be no us if it wasn't for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
So this is for you guys as well.
And that goes all the way back down to the Revolutionary War, as we were talking.
Yeah.
They're the ones that created this, and
Right.
we didn't have to be on. we don't have an accent. We don't have a British accent, so
Someone dumped tea. I don't know.
yeah,
what happened.
fucking
There's all kinds of. There's a lot of
motherfuckers.
history. But
and
it's
good old George.
Yeah,
good old George. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
It's never gotten better though. It's always, unfortunately, it's continued to get worse.
I mean, what is it?
Time.
About 15 years ago, I was looking at me and some friends of mine. At this point, I was about 10 or 11 years into the military, and we were looking at it, and there's only been like, in the United States existence, which is, what are we at now? 250 years ish, 1776. So 202 years, we'll be at 250 years. Of those 250 years, maybe 15 of those years we weren't in any conflict.
Yeah.
Like think about that.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I don't think that there's any other country that can say that.
Yeah.
The Brits, those motherfuckers fight, but sometimes they're just like, we're not gonna do anything, mate.
Yeah.
Whatever. But everywhere else, it was like 15 years, I think, is total that we haven't been in any conflict.
It's a lot of conflict.
Well, we are the world police, so we have to.
Back-to-back champs, last I heard. But it's not to go unnoticed. It's because of those before us for sure, and those that are still fighting. Kudos to you guys. Thank you, because if you weren't still doing what you're doing, we wouldn't be here. So, and there's always something going on in the background. We're not going to get political, but it stays free because things are happening, and there's no way around that. So.
And those individuals that say, because I'm sometimes I can be one of them, that the newer generations, the newer military is a lot more
Yeah.
laxed. But is it though? Because we all face our own challenges.
Yeah.
When I joined, a lot of my predecessors were like, "Oh, the military's soft. Look at you guys, blah
Right.
blah blah."
Yeah.
No, we still went in there. We did what we needed to do.
Same with me. I mean,
And
it's always gonna be like
it's
that.
a smarter working force. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what they're doing. I mean, they just
Yeah.
created that. They just had the first flight of a all AI, which I'm not sure that I like, but it's an all AI flight, F-16. I don't know if you watched that or not, but it's one of those things where we're getting smarter, and
Yeah.
hopefully we don't have to send as many people into battle. but
Right.
That's never going to change.
I mean, even so, like even the F-35, it's a smarter aircraft. It's designed to be able to make it easier and quicker for the maintenance guys. To be able to get it fixed and back up in the air and operating and doing what it needs to do.
Here's a key component to that. It's like taking your vehicle into go get it diagnosed, go get a diagnostics on it. They plug it in, they check, they run. Hey, this component's off, this component's off, this component's about to die, this
Right.
component, and it has all the sensors associated with it.
Yeah.
The sensory aspect. That's the way that aircraft are, and they are way more sophisticated. They
Yeah.
can tell you exactly what is off on the aircraft and why it's not moving in the correct with the A-10s, with some of the older aircraft, no.
Oh, you got to know system knowledge. You got to be able to
and then the
troubleshoot it.
pilots will tell you this is going on, but you can't replicate it on the ground. How are you going to to replicate that on the ground?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it is a smarter force.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to do a quick video, tell you guys thank you, those that have sacrificed their lives,
Yep.
and those that came back and sacrificed their lives as well.
Yeah.
People think that it's a selfish way out, but it's not. You don't know the demons that they're fighting.
Yep.
Take care of your people. Take care of each other.
Yeah.
As this progresses, I want to be able to do things for people. We're starting, if you're in Tucson and you're watching this, every other Tuesday we're starting to do a little Top Golf activity. Have a couple beers, shoot the shit. He hasn't been able to make one yet, but I'm gonna get him. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I just had it. I didn't have a baby, but
yeah,
my wife had a baby, so I got a newborn in the house. So
I'm just giving him crap. But
I will make it eventually.
We have talked about it, and I'm just like joking with them.
Yeah.
But I want to start doing that every other week. Have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Hit some balls if you're able to. Sometimes I won't do it because
You hurt?
my back hurts, but just to be able to hang out with some fellow vets, tell some stories, bullshit a little,
Yeah.
and kind of get this aspect.
Yeah, and just ease of mind, just something to do, get your mind off whatever may be taking a toll on you at the time, something to get away from. I know for me, I have to get outside of my head sometimes because I will sit there or lay there and I will just ponder and just think and think and think, and I'll make myself crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to have an escape from all that jazz.
Yeah, a little outlet.
Yeah,
and that's what I want to do. Eventually, I want to, maybe create a golf tournament, and something where we give back to these foundations that are doing, memorials for people or whatever it may be. That's in the works in my agenda.
If you have some ideas or you think of something that you'd like us to, take a look into or maybe try or let us know. Give us a shout out. Comment it down below. We like to look at that kind of stuff.
And then
build it.
Add me on or add Veterans and Beer on, and I'll put the link onto the comments for the webpage or for the Facebook site.
Yeah.
If you need to hit me up on there in an IM or DM or whatever you want to consider it, definitely hit me up. I take a look at it. It's growing pretty quick, and I appreciate you guys for liking, subscribing, and sharing, because I do see some shares come through quite often.
Yeah.
So
we like that. That's the stuff we want to do. We want to build it. We want to keep growing. We want to keep reaching as many people as possible, because this is infinite. You know what I'm saying? This isn't just to Tucson or to us, or this. We want this to go globally. Did you tell your story about the guy that came up to you at the store?
No, I don't think I did. Yeah, I did. I said it. I said it with Jason.
It's funny. One of the guys that ran into him was like, "Oh, I like your podcast." Well, come to find out, it's one of the guys I used to be stationed with here at Davis Monthan, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what's his name." And I was like, "Heck yeah, cool, man."
Yeah, it was random. Like he came up to me at the grocery store and was like, "I like your podcast," and I'm like, "Who are you?" Like, not in a bad way, but like, fuck, I felt like a little mini celebrity, man. Fuck. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Shout out to Logan. We appreciate you watching.
Yeah, Logan. So hopefully he'll throw you a message and say, hey, Logan was watching this, But I appreciate that, and it's kind of far reached. One of my buddies that I know, he just started watching it in Germany, and he's not stationed there. He's a German national. Yeah, don't worry, man.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask.
And he came to work here for a little bit with a project that I'm in.
Gotcha.
And we were talking about it, and he was like, "You have a podcast?" And he knows that I like shooting guns, and he shot guns. He's never
mind. I will say.
It's funny because he came here and we were working together, and I took him shooting, and it was the first time he's ever shot a gun, and he wants to move to America just to own guns.
Hey,
Fucking right.
You can't be mad at him. You can't be mad at him.
But Keen, if you're watching, definitely next time you're in town, we'll definitely go shooting. I lost my guns in a boat accident in the middle of Lake Erie, so but we can get some more.
Okay. won't ask about that either.
But yeah, thank you. It's starting to reach out more. You know, Heavy Brewery in Toledo. You know, there was a lady that was there, one of the bartenders, when she sold me those
Nice.
in
Canada's also
Canada.
by my way. I like Canada. I've been there.
and different people all over the place. So anywhere from New York, Georgia, people in Jersey. You know, it's starting to build.
Yeah.
We're at 233 subscribers,
Hey.
which I started out with nothing, and over the past 4 months, it's grown exponentially. Like I'm talking about almost 200 subscribers.
Yeah.
So little at a time, getting traction.
And I think we really want to start seeing you guys really comment. We really want to hear what you guys got to say. We want to hear your stories. And even if we can't get you on the podcast, if you go ahead and give us a backdrop and the opportunity, and you give us the go ahead, we'll share your story. You know, by all means, we want to get it out there. Everyone needs to be heard. Everyone's got a voice, and I think everyone deserves that.
Yep.
So at a minimum, everyone deserves to be heard.
And your family will appreciate it because
For sure.
they'll always have something that's if you come on this show, they always have a
Yep.
video attached with you and your legacy and what you talked about and what your
That's
why
not
was.
going away. That'll be there.
The what your why is very important to me,
Yep.
important to Josh,
Mhm.
important to Tim, as we had a
Yeah.
discussion with Tim, and I want this to continue to grow because I don't want it to just essentially be mine. I want somebody else to start doing it as well, you know,
Right.
tag teaming, having friends,
For
and then
sure.
just grows, and it just
Yeah.
becomes a channel of what's your why. Like,
Exactly.
why did you do it? Why?
Yeah.
You know, so maybe if you're in a location where you have plenty of friends and we can have a discussion and you can be a facilitator to what's your why as well.
Yeah.
You know, there might just be a couple little rules, like a little script that you got to go through, but it's not hard. I mean,
No.
you see us,
We're
bullshit.
pretty lax.
We bullshit and we drink fucking beer.
Yeah,
so
we're pretty lax around here. I mean, most things go. So, but we don't want to offend anyone, of course. But yeah,
yeah,
we want your story to be heard.
I don't think I've said any f-bombs today.
No, actually, no. Been pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. That's
Well,
a change.
one of the ladies at work will be
What the
very
fuck?
proud of me. No. No,
Sorry.
fuck.
Oh, there you
Damn
go.
it. See,
I got him
see.
started. You guys are welcome. Back to your regular scripted. But yeah,
But-
we just like to have fun around here and enjoy conversation and just discuss the things that are on our minds and what's on your mind. Let us know. We want to hear about it.
Yeah, this is
So.
important. I think Wednesday I have another one that I'm going to be doing. Another 24-year veteran from the Air Force. We need to get somebody. I work with somebody that was a 26-year Marine.
Oh yeah, he eats a lot of crayons.
A lot of fucking crayons. Like,
I think his favorite color is purple though.
yeah. He said it tastes like grape or something. I don't fucking know. Purple drink or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
Fred, we need to get you on one of these.
Yeah,
Even though
for
you're
sure.
strict by the book, he still has a little mini flat top. And I don't fucking get it. He's been retired for like 20 years, so motherfucker's old.
I don't think you ever get rid of being a Marine. That stuff.
No,
is
no.
instilled.
I get it.
Stuff is
But
instilled in them. But hey, someone's got to do it.
yeah, someone's gonna do it.
So thank you.
Somebody's
for
got to
your
eat
service.
all those fucking crayons, MRE crayons. So, yeah, we definitely fuck with them a lot because
Yeah, he's a good dude though.
of little fly boys or whatever. the fuck
Yeah,
he
he calls
says.
us
I don't
solid
fucking
Chair
know.
Force. So
Chair
shout
Force. Yeah, that's what it is. Chair Force.
out. Chair Force.
Yeah.
He's
so,
just mad he wasn't hanging out in the 5-star freaking hotels and we were TDY.
our dining facilities, he had to eat chow halls. And
Yeah,
fucking,
I've never met an Army or a Marine guy that didn't love an Air Force chow hall. So you're welcome.
yeah. Navy's just a whole different story, so don't even worry about
Yeah,
that
I
shit.
don't know. I couldn't do Navy. God bless those guys.
But like I said, I appreciate it. Thank you. This is our Memorial Day one. I know it went from pretty somber to lighthearted at the end.
Yeah.
But hey, Josh, thank you again.
Always.
It's always
This is my outlet. Like you know, like everyone says, hey, Tim's mentioned it himself. His out, he enjoys it. So.
see, and this is what I mean. Like this is why I started
Yeah.
it because it's easy to talk to and
it's
talk with somebody and
enjoyable.
stuff.
I like it, and it gets me the opportunity to remember and sort of
Yeah.
bring back those memories because I mean I don't want to forget them, but at the same time it's like you get so indulged and delved in life, and we're not in the service no more, so it's not pertinent per se, but
Yeah.
I get to dig them up and relive them and sort of oh yeah, and
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
It's crazy because sometimes,
Yeah.
and this is my little war room. I have other memorabilia all around,
Oh yeah, this guy's got all kinds of stuff.
and sometimes I'll sit here and just see things. You want to slide over this way a little? Come this way. There's a little wrench right there. I don't know if you can see it right there. That one of my buddies commented on, and he's still active duty. He's an E8 in the Air Force, and he gave me that wrench when I had my going away. Because I modified that thing, and I was like, look, get the job done. Let's fucking do this.
That's right.
Like I don't want. And ever since then, he was like, fuck, dude. Like I thought you were gonna be all pissed off, and I was like, no, get it fucking done. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Hide it from fucking QA. You know, and it was one of those things.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And I was QA. I literally went and became the QA chief inspector.
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta do shit to fucking get shit done.
Oh yeah.
And he loves that. So Dirty Sanchez, Steven, that one's for you, man. Because one day you're gonna be sitting right here with me. He wants me to go down to San Antonio, where I'm from,
Nice.
and he wants to do a podcast. And I know a lot of people down in San Antonio too, so I might just take a trip down there to go do 5, 6, 7 interviews and have a good little time, But yeah, Steven, just fucking wait, Dirty. You're gonna be on here, so
that's what it's about. I mean, I can only imagine between the two of us combined, let alone the amount of people we know, that are still serving or have served, and the stories that are out there between, what we know from their stories and what they personally know and went through,
Goddamn.
So there's a lot of stories to be told, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're just getting started.
I know, and there's still a lot of individuals that I was in charge of that are either now majors, because they swapped over, lieutenant colonels, or chiefs in the Air Force, and some of these motherfuckers are gonna have to pony up and tell some stories, because I know some of them think I'm probably an asshole, which I probably was.
Probably.
I know it is true. I was, but
you've never been an asshole to me though.
I don't have a reason to now.
I
Like
know.
I'm not in the military anymore, so the fuck do I need to be an asshole for?
Boy, I don't need to be an asshole unless you cut me off in traffic. Fuck you.
Ever since I said that I didn't say a fucking bad word, I fucking have been saying them. Sorry, Joni. Sorry. She's gonna be mad at me. But anyway,
But yeah, there's just stories we want to hear. There's stories that need to be told, and we want to hear from you. So once again,
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Like, share, comment,
subscribe.
Please subscribe. That's
subscribe.
important. And then let's share a beer together.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Take care till episode 28, which will probably be out on Wednesday or Thursday. And cheers.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Days. Remember those individuals.
Yep.
Have a good one.